All right. Welcome to episode number 2 of Inside the Mill podcast. Coach Christian here, my partner Seth Humphrey. Today's podcast title, we're going to be talking about the 5 common fitness lies that are holding you back. And then we can really just transition into number 1. And this is a huge one. This is and I'll go ahead and tell a story after I'm tell you, but it's number 1 is you need to work out every day to see results. So recently we just had a guy that signed up with us, and I told you this yesterday, I believe. And I was training him, and this is probably the 3rd or 4th time that I had trained him. And towards the end of his workout, he goes, "Man, I don't understand how anybody gets results in here just showing up 2 to 3 days a week." And I was like, man, like looking at your workouts like calorie burn, and looking at it like you have to train every single day in order to see any kind of progress is what eventually is going to lead to your body breaking down, lead to you burning out. And so I quickly just told him, like, man, because he wanted to come two times every single day. And I'm like, man, your body has to have time to recover. If you're working out, because that's what people don't understand. Inside the gym, that's not where the muscle's growing. It's everything you do those other 23 hours out of the day, with the nutrition that you put in your body, with the sleep that you get, with all those other things, the stretching, the mobility, all that other stuff is what's going to help you continue to get that muscle growth that you're wanting to get. And it's we're not building muscle, we're actually breaking it down in the gym, and then it's building up with everything that we do outside of the gym. And so that's a huge lie.
It's that mentality of that this is a problem, and it's causing problems in more areas of their life. So when you look at things and you think that this has to be difficult, I have to hate this, I can't, and that's what we're wired into to believing. So like you see it. You know, you got to grind, you got to hustle, and you see this is how it is in the military. It's got to be hard, and you got to hate it, and that's how you break the individuals that are in the military. That's how they break them down. So you see this in the world, and you start to believe that your belief becomes like, well, I have to hate what I'm doing. I have to not like it. It's got to be miserable. I've got to work out 2 times a day. I've got to go and run. I've got to give up carbohydrates. And these individuals will start to see a little bit of progress. But the problem is that it's not sustainable long-term. And when it's not sustainable long-term, you will run out of willpower, because you don't have willpower forever. And when that happens is you fall down to your lowest level of learning. And so what happens is you go back to your old ways.
Yeah.
And so now you start to beat yourself up, and you start to believe that this isn't a possibility. I can't make this. I'm not cut out for it. You start to have injuries, like you were saying, things like that.
Yep.
And so like that first lie is we have to start to identify that the facts of the matter, and that's what the possibility side of it. And I'll let you kind of dive in. And that's what you hire us for, is because the possibility side is like, hey, what if it's simplified?
Yeah.
Hey, what if you just have to work out 3 days a week, and then go for walks and have your carbohydrates with 2 or 3 of your meals, and then and eat this with protein, and have everything with protein in there. And then what happens is clients start to realize is like, oh, I'm eating so much protein that fills me up.
Yep.
I'm having carbohydrates with it. I don't need more food. It's hard for me to eat the food that's on the list here.
Yep.
Oh, I just got to go for walks. I don't have to run or do anything like that. And now they start to have this, we've broken the frame that they've lived their life in, and he starts to see it differently. And we've got to get him to that place of that possibility of showing him like, hey, bro, don't have to be difficult. Don't have to be hard. You can actually love this.
Yep.
And you can get great results, especially if you're not trying to compete or do
For
anything.
sure. Yeah. You don't have to do all that. And that's the favorite place that we get our clients to, is whenever they go, I didn't know it could be this easy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when they actually start to get results. And that's when they actually start to fall in love with the process.
And that's not, so I will say this, and I know what you mean is, it's like not easy, but simple.
simple. Yeah.
We have to. You're going to have
There's
your
still sacrifices.
You're going to
gotta
have
make.
your old habits. You're going to have your old versions
Yep.
of yourself that are going to pop back up. That wants to get. I always use Casey's, like drive the Casey's and go and grab a cherry sours or something like that. That's old me that still there. And now what happens is I just if he wants that, I just like, hey, go get it.
Yeah.
But I get right back on it where it used to be, I'm going to eat everything underneath the sun because I messed up because I had some cherry sours.
Yeah. Well, here's the solution in that talk that I had with him was like, man, you don't have to do it twice. Like, let's just focus on, I told him, I don't care how much you walk outside of here. I don't care how many minutes and hours you stretch outside of here, but coming in here twice a day, you're never allowing your body to recover. So what I told him was like, next week, let's just get here. If you want to come 5 days a week, that's totally fine. We can work around that, but trying to do it twice, 5 days a week is not going to work. And so it's Tuesday and he's taking my advice. And what he's going to start to notice is his body does feel better. He's going to start to notice like, wow, I am actually starting to make progress on the weights that I'm lifting because I actually have the energy and I actually have the recovery to be able to do that. Wow, I am sleeping a lot better. My joints don't hurt as bad. So he doesn't see it now, but we're painting that picture for him in the future because we've seen it from all the clients and all the experience that we've had. We know what things look like whenever you follow this simple plan. And so that's the possibility for him is that if he just follows this and listens to us and lets us coach him, then he's going to start to reap the benefits.
Like, because here's the deal, man. We don't let clients come in here and run the show.
No.
Because if you knew what the show, how the show was ran, then you would be running the show and you wouldn't be hiring us. Mm-hmm. And so like when you come in here, I remember when Justin back in the day come in, big old dude, had worked out and he probably benched 300 pounds 100 times before, which was amazing. But when he came in here, I don't care how old you are. I don't care how gruff you are. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how scary you are. You're going to start with the mobility and you're going to start with body weight movements. Oh, but you're going to do this? Well, I don't feel like I'm going to get results. And then he gets like, we get him lean.
Lost down 50.
Yeah, then he always pounds. Go back and do his old ways and stuff, but that's beside the point because he was like this guy right here.
Yeah, and
he would just say, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to eat like this, and over the weekends. This is what I'm going to have." Just like this guy was saying, "Hey, I'm going to work out 10 times a week," and it's like, bro, like we're in pretty good shape, and we don't work out. Well, you might work out 10 days. You need to like listen to like your advice on this.
Yeah, for sure. My wife tells me that too. But that's how I learn it. That's how I learn from
I see you like running like 4 miles before church, and I'm like, okay, so Christian's getting his workout done, like I'm getting my workout done. We're bros. We like do the same thing. Okay, like we're on the same page, kind of wavelength, and I'm like, look at like
on our way out from church, he asked me what else.
I'm like 4 or 5 hours later, after church is over and stuff, and it's like he's like back at the gym working out again. And I'm like, okay, well, we're obviously got different goals because I'm staying home.
Yeah, but to finish on Justin, he was mind blown because we didn't even let him touch a dumbbell, any kind of resistance for the first week or two because he was so tight. And that's the thing is we meet clients where they're at. It's not just one size fits all. Like if you don't have the mobility to properly sit into a squat, I'm not going to hand you a weight and then tell you to squat with that weight because eventually it's going to lead to you breaking down. So
let's give them the what we do.
Yep.
You show up at least 3 times a week.
Yep.
You get 2,000 more steps than you did the week before.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Follow a simple 3-2-1 nutrition plan.
3-2-1 nutrition is just rules. That says, hey, here's some proteins you get to choose from. Here's your carbs you get to choose from. And like clients can then they start to be able to figure out what works best for them. That might be you fast and I don't have breakfast. And so, I'm breaking my fast at 10:30 with that shake as far as that. So then you start to find your like rhythm of what works best for you. But I used to be the way of like when I eat, like I'm going to fast until noon and then things like that. Now I'm even like changing up because I'm walking around this morning within the grass with my shoes off, like at 10, like because my coach said, I want you to walk around in your grass for 10 minutes with your shoes off. And I'm like, with the sunlight going on, I'm feeling like a hippie from back in like, anyway.
And it feels crazy to you, but you're doing it. You're trusting the process. And that's what seems crazy to you could seem, some of the stuff we say to our clients, it's basic to us, could seem crazy to them. But then once they just trust it, whether they think it's the right thing to do or not. We know.
So
we've seen it.
The biggest focus there is, and the biggest lesson is like consistency is better and greater than intensity. And then like,
absolutely,
you're not going to win if it's hard every day. Then you're going to
burn out
by like slowly doing the same thing over and over again and just being bored with the process, but also trusting the process. Just like in life, like God asks us just to be faithful and just do what you're supposed to do today and don't worry about it in the future. The same thing with what you're hiring, not comparing us obviously to that, but you're comparing us to, or you're hiring us to give you the process to say, hey, just follow this. And then we put all kinds of like guarantees around it. That's the other side of it too. So
the biggest thing that I could finish on to close this out is if what you're doing right now, you can't see yourself doing 5-10 years from now, you're not doing the right thing.
Yeah, that's good. What about 2?
All right. Number 2 is you have to do hours of cardio to burn fat. And so whenever obviously we don't have to deal with that anymore. We have our own gym, but back in the day, whenever you'd walk into a big box gym, you'd see 50 treadmills and you would see most of the people on all those treadmills in the gym, all the cardio equipment, and you would see very few people other than like, the big meatheads that were over there lifting weights. And that's what a lot of people think. They believe that fat loss equals endless cardio. And you think that you're burning all of those calories, and like you bust your butt on a cardio machine, you're probably burning about 500 calories in an hour. You know how fast you can eat 500 calories? Like if you think that you doing that, then you can go out and eat like a buffoon and not focus on all these other things.
And cardio and high intensity cardio is causing you to create more of a hunger.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah,
like absolutely. When I'm done working out like strength training, like it takes me a little bit to get a hunger.
Oh yeah,
like an hour, maybe an hour and a half later or so. And I'll drink a shake or whatever. But that's the other side of it too, is you have some type of post workout that you're having, so that's slowing down, like you're not as hungry. But cardio is causing you the more high intensity, the more cortisol the raises, things like that. It's like legit telling you to eat more. And then here's the other side of it is like the more cardio that you do, you're probably not strength training as much. And if you are strength training, then like you're kudos to you. You're doing like what you need to do, but like the strength training needs to be the majority of it. And that's what we tell our clients is walk.
Yeah.
Because again, it goes back to like, I can jump on that stair climber every single day of the week, but I don't like the stair climber. It sucks. The Echo bike, I don't like it. Now I will do whatever is on the plan and they tell me to do. Like I got to do 100 calories on the Echo bike here in a little bit. I'm not going to like it.
Yeah.
But like, I know it's part of the process to get me there. And so the cardio side of it is like people are causing themselves more, because majority of people don't like doing cardio. They just like to sweat and they feel good because they sweat.
No doubt. And we're not trying to tell you to not do cardio at all. Like don't get that wrong. Like you do need to build endurance. You do need to build up strength in your heart. But Seth hit the nail on the head whenever he said, you burn all that. And what most people do is they overestimate how many calories they burn during that session. And then they go out and think, oh, I just ran 3 miles. I can go out and eat this. And then you start thinking that you earned those things. And then that leads you to making no progress. And then the less muscle you have on your body, the slower your metabolism is too. So what you're doing is, you might start losing weight those first few weeks, but you're just making a skinnier, fatter version of yourself, because you're starting to lose muscle mass. So then your metabolism slows down. Eventually you lead yourself into a point where you're eating 1,000 calories, but then you're having to run 4 or 5 miles every day.
You feel like crap and you look like crap. And you look like crap.
Yeah.
Like I'd hate to like break that down, but like you put someone who's strength training and doing, and then maybe like with you're running, but you're also strength training and you've got a plan that you're following, that you're not just going, I feel like I'm going to run more because I'm trying to reach a certain, no, you know that like performance wise, what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And like now that's like the big thing is running, a hybrid kind of athlete kind of deal. And so like, that's your path is like what you want as far as that stuff goes. But possibility can go for a majority of people. They just want to lose fat. They want to be able to have, they want to be toned is what they say. And so the majority of them, they just need to strength train. We need to walk daily because they don't want to do more necessarily. And then they need to fuel themselves with the certain amount of protein. If it's something I would tell you is go into your goal weight. like on your protein and like
Yes.
what your goal weight is, to start hitting that.
Yeah.
And that's a good indicator that you're going to be at least filling yourself up with that, and then cut the cardio down to just getting some walks in and stuff.
No doubt. Most of the clients we have that come into the Vitality Mill, they're clearly overeating. They've got weight that they have to lose. We put them on that nutrition sheet and we go, hey, shoot for this many grams of protein. And they're like, Christian, I can't eat that much protein. It's because you're taking all of the other crap that you have been eating, and now you're trying to prioritize food that actually satiates you and actually works with your body, holds you over a lot longer. Then you realize, wow, like the stuff that I was eating, the government and everybody else designs that for me to want to have more and more and more of it. When we actually eat whole foods, you can be very full and still be in a calorie deficit and make progress.
And that's where you start to learn is that muscle is the engine that burns the fat. Yeah. Like that's like when you start to understand that, you start to realize you get more food. Yeah. You look different aesthetically. You look different, because that's the thing too. Is like, yeah, you want to we want to be around long term for our kids and for our grandkids, and we want to travel and do all kinds of things and like enjoy life, no doubt about it. But if you feel like crap and you look like crap, then like it's not something you're going to enjoy as much. And then also on that, like you want to also look good. You don't want to just feel good. You want to also look good. So like quit fighting and it goes back to the same thing we talked about before is, a majority is they've got some type of rule, some type of story that they've created that cardio is the way to go. And that is the way that I've got to lose my weight, because back when I was in the 1990s, when I was in my 20s, I did a little bit more cardio and I've gotten lean. Well, yeah, you were 20 something years old. You were different.
You also had a lot of stuff working.
And you didn't have a lot of stress like you have now. And your hormones weren't as like they were now. And so like
you moved a lot more.
Yeah. So quit doing it your way and start just raising your hand and going like, I don't know how to. It sounds like that you guys might know how to. You've done it for 19 and a half years. So like, show me how. Mm-hmm. And then, like I said, the more lean muscle you start to build, you start to look different, feel different. And on the other side of that, you start to realize and your identity starts to change. And I think that's the other side of it. When you look at yourself in the mirror and you see like this version of you that you created because you just pushed away doing the crazy cardio and you pushed away the low calories and start eating more protein, you just start following the plan, then it opens up a whole new perspective and you start to see that version of yourself that you created. And then you start to have confidence in yourself and then you start to identify what are the other areas I need to start start focused on and start working on. Because if I can do this, which you think right now you can't, but if you know that you can and you do it, it's game over with.
Yeah. Yeah. Lie number 3, carbs are the enemy. You're probably going to have a heyday with this one. I know that you talk about this one a lot. And that's the problem is a lot of, there's so many different fad diets out there, but so many people hear, okay, I'll cut my carbs and then I'm going to lose the weight. And think about all the foods that you enjoy that you just immediately cut out of your nutrition. Like if those foods that you like to eat, you just cut out of it, you're only going to be able to, like you said, willpower runs out. You're only going to be able to sustain that for so long. And so they fear that carbs, cause you to gain fat. And what that ultimately leads to is just clients, they can do it for so long and then they end up binging. I see it all the time with the clients that we have. They can have that willpower for 2 to 3 weeks and then they end up just going off the rails, and they go off the rails hard. And then, like you said, where your baseline was, you end up dipping even underneath that. And then just the guilt and the shame of not being able to stick to that unsustainable goal that you just set for yourself.
That's what I was just about to say and then you start looking at yourself as a failure. You start feeling guilty. You start feeling shame. And so like now you've got like people who you've told what you're going to do, or you told them that you hired a gym or whatever and trainer or whatever. And then you don't start showing up because you're embarrassed that you're not seeing the results because you didn't follow through. And then you start to have this sunken cost of like the money that you spent and you didn't get the results because you didn't follow through. And then the next thing you know is you start beating yourself up about how much money. And then now you started to create such this big problem that when someone that can show you, and you might talk to Betsy Sue or John down the street and they go, met these guys at the Vitality Meal, and they transform the way I think about eating, the way I think about working out. And you've got to try it too. And then you go to, oh, but I can't because I've never been successful at stuff before. I've failed before. I've spent so much money on other stuff before. And so you don't do anything. And by not doing anything, you stay right where you are the rest of your life. And then you only get more out of shape. You only put more weight on. And the more and more you do this, the older you get, the more your life at the end is pretty much done now. And I say that because you're not going to enjoy retirement. I went to Greece this past week. I was there 9 days, and I went with a bunch of 55 to 60 to 70-year-old individuals. And the 70-year-old individuals that could still walk up the steps and could still walk up the hill and could still do the little basic stuff because they've taken care of themselves and they've taken care of their nutrition and figured it out one way or another. Might not be the best way, but they figured it out. Those individuals enjoyed every sight, and they went and they did everything, and they left knowing that, hey, I enjoyed it. But there's about a handful that couldn't make it up the hill, that didn't, and I could see at the point of their life, they're their 60s and close to 70s, that this is going to be one of the last trips they take. And so, like, I'm saying this from a place of, like, if you're in your 40s or you're in your 50s right now, you can take action right now, and we change them every day, and we have this happen every day where we help individuals out and start as far as that stuff goes. So it's starting to identify and realize that your way of looking at it's not right, and you're going to stay right where you are until you start to raise your hand and find the right place and the right people at the right time. And then that's why we offer what we offer and then back it up, because we know that when you come in, it's game over with. You're going to see results.
Yeah. And when it comes to the nutrition and clients being scared to eat carbs, one of my favorite ways to allow clients to get out of that thought process is like, okay, well, let's have them, but let's have them around the time that you're most active, because we want to try to change the way that they look at it. And so, like, let's start to look at it like, okay, well, carbs are going to be fuel for me. If I'm going to go work out, or if I'm going to go on a walk, then that's whenever I'm going to eat my carbs. But if I'm about to get up and immediately log in on my computer and then go do work for 8 hours before I go to the gym, I don't need to have carbs right then, because I'm going to be sitting on my butt. But then, like, an hour before I go to the gym, let me go ahead and have my carbs. And so you're still able to incorporate a lot of the things that you like into your nutrition, but let's just change our thinking and let's just use that as fuel around our most active time throughout the day.
Yeah. And when you look at that side of it, it goes back to, like, the discipline that you start to learn and you start to build is going to outweigh the motivation every single time. When you start to see those results and you start to do it the simple way, and you start to see results doing it the simple way, you start to get excited about what's going to be able to change next and how you're going to be able to change it next. And so that's the other side of it, is discipline over motivation, and going from there.
Yep. All right. And man, line number 4 ties into that, is you need to be motivated all the time. That's definitely a huge lie. And that's why a lot of people never take action and don't stick to the plan. That's probably on that backside. Yeah. And so line number 4, you need to be motivated all the time. This is why we just lay things out simple for clients and say, hey, there's just non-negotiables that we do every single day. And as long as you get those things done, you're going to be making progress. But we don't wake up every day ready to get up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. And then we got to coach, and then we got to train ourselves, and then we have to eat right. And there's all these other things. I say have to, we get to, we're blessed to be able to, but we're not always motivated to do those things. But we know, hey, we do work out. This is on the plan for us today. We do hit our steps every single day. We do get this amount of water in, and we have those simple but sustainable things that we're able to do on a daily basis. And as long as we follow that, that's when we're going to get the results. And in the moment, what's funny about it too is when you have that feeling of, oh, I don't want to do this, man, sometimes that turns into the best workouts that day. That's when you're the most grateful, because you didn't want to do it, and then you hold yourself to it. Think about the confidence that creates whenever you hold yourself to doing that and seeing yourself win on a daily basis.
Well, it's having that floor and having that ceiling. Floor being like, hey, these are the bare minimum I need to do. I need to get at least 10,000 steps in. ceiling for me is like if I get 15,000 steps in, like that's really good. That's my ceiling. Like if I'm getting there, that's about what I need. I don't need anything else crazy as far as that stuff goes. I'm not running miles and stuff like some of us over here. And then on that, when you start to have just like this bare minimum of like, this is what I'm got to get done. Like you just got to come in here 3 days a week. You can get your steps in and just start, like, if you're not working out, then like, you're not going to be crazy hungry, but don't allow yourself to, because you're not working out, to eat like a buffoon and then make worse decisions that are digging you deeper. And I think that's a lot of people do too. Is like, well, missed the gym, only got to the gym one time this week. And so instead of like focusing on the things they could have done or reaching out and getting a home workout from us or whatever it may be, or a traveling workout, then they fall off the deep end of going like, well, I couldn't make it in there, so then I'm going to eat like crap or whatever. And that's that kind of way of thinking is also keeping you stuck, and it's going to continue to keep you stuck. So a big thing is it's like when you start to change your identity to an individual that I show up regardless of my mood, regardless of my feelings, regardless of my emotions, I'm going to show up. And you start to remind yourself of who you are. And then like you start to see what you've built in your life and other areas. You start to see that you're a lot more disciplined than you give yourself credit for. And then that starts to open up. What else could I attack? It's just because this hadn't worked for me in the past doesn't mean it's not going to work for me. Because in anything else in life, it was a money thing, or if it was your car wasn't working or whatever it was, you would go and figure out, because, hey, I need that transportation. If I don't have money, I can't go and do this stuff. You would figure it out. So like, what if your body's not working and your results aren't working that way, then like, let's figure it out. Do something different then.
Yeah, no doubt. And yeah, I mean, the quicker that you can stop relying on motivation and letting your feelings dictate the actions that you take, then the quicker that you're going to be able to get results. And so, yeah, man, the path with that is like what I tell a lot of clients is set the days that you're going to be in the gym this week. And this is why, like, what we have our clients do at the Vitality Mill is every Sunday they set a Fit 4. And that Fit 4 is you making commitments to yourself. Because if you just go into Monday and you don't have a plan of, okay, I'm going to be at the gym these days and I'm going to eat this way. I'm just going to wing it. Like whenever you wing things and you're just trying to that's whenever you let your feelings get into the way of things. And then that's whenever obviously like our feelings are going to fail us 99.9% of the time if we don't have things that we've already laid out and already planned to do. And that's what people, if you don't have that clear plan, then you're not going to be able to get the results, the sustainable results.
And that plan creates discipline. Like once you have a plan, then you can start to get disciplined around it. Well, majority of you don't have a plan. And so then you wonder why you can't stay disciplined.
Yeah.
And now you lean on your motivation and how you feel to get that. And that's not ever going to, I mean, the past week, I've been like off on my sleep because I got back from Greece. Like, but it's like, you had to figure it out. You got to course correct. So,
yeah. All right. Last lie. Number 5, you're too old to build muscle or get strong. This is man, especially with what we do here at the Vitality Mill, we train individuals over the age of 40. We've got some clients that are 60, 70 years old and have the most muscle they've ever had on their body ever. And so like age is just a number. Like, yes, as we get older, our muscle, it's harder to put on muscle. It's harder to sustain that muscle that you have on your body, but you're still able to build it with a good structured plan. You can still make progress regardless of the age that you are. And we see it every single day with clients that we have.
Yeah. So you can lay down, like this is options. Like lay down and just don't try. Like give up. Like it's over with. Or decide that like, hey, I've made it through and I've done everything for everybody else. Now it's time for me to invest in myself and to get in better shape. And here's the deal: is like Christian was saying, like I'm 40. I'll be 44 here in 76 days, something like that. I'm going and getting my blood work done every 90 days. Yeah. And then I'm going back and asking the doctor, like, what am I low on? Okay, what do I need to supplement that with? How do I get that up? A lot of my stuff that I'm doing right now with my nutrition is you see me eating like mushrooms yesterday and like a whole half of red onion. Like I don't like onions, but there's a reason why he's having me eat this stuff because I'm getting my vitamins and my minerals and these nutrients through my foods to help me repair and recover. And so it's a learning game. And so, yeah, you can you can wallow around in self-pity and tell yourself you're too old, you can't do this, or you can be like June and Jaquita and like all these other clients that had come in that are older and they have they definitely have slowed down things, but they also know that like if they don't put a focus on the things that they can do and they only put a focus on the things they can't do, then they might as well just give up and quit. And and then they're not going to do that. And so they're in here and they're success stories. June had heart arrhythmia. Like it's like that would have been a story that she could have told herself that I can't work out because I can't get my heart rate a certain. But what we had to do is monitor her heart rate. Yep. Her heart got stronger. It started working, not having to beat as much because she's starting to get stronger and starting to do a little bit of conditioning and cardio and strength training and it starts to get better and better. And then now she don't have to worry about that stuff because she attacked the problem.
Man, and that used to haunt her. And she lived her life that way. She didn't know it could be any different. And she came into the gym on day one and it was like, we wouldn't even touch a weight yet. I would explain the exercise to her and she'd put the heart rate monitor on her finger and just like, okay, I'll do it. And like, we were patient. We told her like, hey, things are going to be okay. We helped her from the very beginning. And like now she doesn't even bring the heart rate monitor to the gym because she's seen like, okay, as long as I rest in between my sets, we've built that education around it and shown her what she's capable of. But like you say all the time, we broke that frame and got her out of that box of what she thought this was the ceiling. And then we showed her, hey, this is actually the ceiling. Like you're able to do all these other things. And now she lives a way just happier life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So age don't limit your potential. Neglect does.
Yeah.
And so like she put a focus and said, hey guys, and I remember like when she come in, she was worried about like the cost and stuff like that. But now she sees the value and like every 6 months there's a check in the box because now she understands. They're like, I've got to have this. And here's the other part of why she has to do that too, is she has a husband she has to take care of.
Yeah. Like
that's the big part. If she goes down, then her husband don't have anybody to take care of her.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no doubt. I think let's your DEXA scan results too. Like this kind of makes me think of that is, man, I was mind blown whenever I saw how much muscle you put on because you've been training for 20 plus years. Like you've worked out a long time. When you've worked out that long, putting on a significant amount of muscle is very hard to do. But what you did is you made some tweaks in your nutrition. You followed the coach's plan. And like, your results of your DEXA scan just blew my mind because of me knowing how hard it is to put on muscle when you've strength trained for so long. And so like, there just shows like, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, how old you are, like not that you're old.
That shows too. Yeah. And I don't care. I'll run circles around fools. But that shows
following
too,
the plan.
That shows too, though, is like as I started going back into more of a high intensity style workouts, and so like I did that for a little bit because my joints and stuff were like I strength training was just like you get like we've done it for so long, you get to where you want to just spice something up, and so like those high intensity workouts were fun, and so I went and did that for a little bit. What that was doing was I was burning. Not only was I burning a little bit of fat, but I was burning a majority of muscle. And so then when I went right back to strength training, that was like I put it right back on because I started strength training again, and he put me on a focus of strength training. So
yeah,
I think that's basically.
I think we can definitely close it out. I mean, all these lies, 1 through 5, it's definitely somebody could relate to one of these 5 for sure. And so obviously we have a lot of knowledge around it. We've got a clear game plan. So if you're not a member of the Vitality Mill and you're listening to this, look us up on social media. Look us up on our website, thevitalitymill.com. I'll go ahead and plug my Instagram, and then you can plug your Instagram too. That way that they can reach us from there if they want to DM us. But I'm Boo Trains _6 or Boo _train 6 at Instagram.
And we have Instagram of the Vitality Mill. If you didn't say that, and then our Facebook page too, where we deliver tons of value. Mine is at seth.p.humphrey. and that's where you'll find me. Here's the other thing. This is what we have to offer you too. Is like right now we're launching our 12 and 12. This is by far our most popular program, because. And the reason why we do what we do is you come in for 12 weeks, we give you 12 weeks for free. The reason why we do that, one reason is we had individuals that would start, and like I told you before, is like they go for about 4 or 5 weeks and then maybe not follow it through perfect and then give up about week 6. And when we started getting frustrated is we were putting more focus on the clients that weren't showing up instead of all the clients that were getting amazing results. So we made this shift, and the shift was, hey, we're going to give you, or you buy 12 weeks, you follow our simple vital method, which we've gone through 3 days a week of coming in here, getting your steps in, following nutrition, weighing in and putting it inside the app. You follow that, then what we do is give you another 12 weeks for free. This was the leverage and the carrot at the end of the stick to start having clients follow through with going into phase 1 of our program, which is momentum, working on mobility, working on nutrition and rules around your nutrition, and working on body weight strength, and then graduating into phase 2, phase 2 being skill set. Here's what strength training we're going to work on. Here's your calories. Here's your protein. Let's start working this so that you can get sustainable results. And what happens is clients come in for phase 1 and phase 2, and by coming in for those 6 months, they're set up. They know how to eat. They know how to work out, and they can have sustainable results the rest of their life by following that. And they can go on their own and leave us and know that they need they got what they need. Majority start to build a relationship with us. We get great results, and they're like, if we got this in 6 months, what can I do in a year? And so then they commit, and they're here with us. And we have, my first client who ever started with me is still rolling with me. So that's back from 2007, Connie Cart. So here's the deal. We're offering that 12 and 12 right now. We're not going to take thousands of people. That's not what we offer. But we're going to take like 3 men, 3 women. This is your opportunity to come in right now and really get to experience what it's all about. We back it with money back guarantee, but also you can get 3 months, 12 weeks for free by just following through and give you that leverage. So I think that's it.
Yeah. We can close it out.
If that's something you're interested in, you can message us, the Vitality Mill, at the Vitality Mill on Instagram, and then same thing on Facebook. You can message us. You can give us a call or you can shoot us a text message at 405-568-5117. You shoot a text message that says 12 and 12, then we will reach back out to you, and we'll start pointing you in the right direction and get you on the schedule to see if we're a good fit or not. So, yeah. All right, for Coach Christian, Seth Humphrey, we appreciate you. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the other side.